Hi everybody, today we're going to talk about loop switchers. Loop switchers go by different names, true bypass switchers, loopers, but just make sure you don't confuse it with a loop pedal. Loop pedals, like the ditto here, are used to record a track and then layer different recordings on top of that. We're going to do a video on that later on, so keep an eye out for that. So let's get started. Before getting on to using a loop switcher, you need to understand the signal flow without a loop switcher. In a normal signal flow, the signal flows from your guitar's output to the input of the first pedal, then from the output of the first pedal to the input of the second pedal, and so on. If a pedal in the chain is turned on, you will hear the affected sound. However, in this signal flow, even if the pedal is turned off, the signal still has to travel through the pedal and all the cables, as it is a linear flow. So if, for example, you have 25 pedals, then your signal goes through 25 pedals and 52 cables. And because the flow is linear, if one of the pedals or cables is broken, then this breaks the chain, and you won't have any sound come out at the end. In addition, as your signal moves along the signal flow, it hits resistance from the cables and pedals, and the signal starts getting weaker. This is where buffers come in. In the most simple sense, a buffer boosts the signal again for you. Some pedals have buffers built in. However, these can alter your tone even when the pedal is off, so sometimes they are undesirable, as it may colour your sound in a way you don't like. A way around these issues is using a loop switcher. A loop switcher essentially creates a little mini flow for each pedal or group of pedals, which we'll look at in a second. In this first example, we have a simple loop switcher setup. Each pedal has been put in its own loop. The actual pedals are always turned on, and then you activate or deactivate loops if you want the signal to flow through that pedal. Your guitar is connected to the input of the switcher, and the output of the switcher is connected to your amps. If no loops are activated, then the guitar signal flows straight through the switcher, bypassing all the pedals, and then straight to the amp with your guitar tone unaffected. You can see in this example we have activated loop 2. The signal flows from the guitar's output to the switcher, and then from the send of loop 2 to the input of the pedal, and then from the output of the pedal to the return of loop 2. It then continues through the switcher and then to the input of the amp, bypassing all the other loops that are not activated. If we activate another loop, such as loop 5, then the signal flows from the guitar, through the overdrive, through the reverb, and then out to the amp. In the most simple setups, you would have one pedal in each loop. However, you may have more pedals than the amount of loops your switcher has. For example, you may have 5 loops but 6 pedals. Or you may have pedals that you always use at the same time. So instead of turning both pedals on separately, you can add them to the same loop and turn them on with the same switch. You can see in this example, we have moved the reverb into loop 4 with our delay. Now when we activate loop 4, the signal flows into the delay, then through the reverb, then back to the switcher before going to the amp. If we deactivate loop 4, this deactivates the delay and reverb from the flow. In this situation, if you wanted to use the delay without the reverb, or vice versa, you would have to turn it off on the pedal directly. However, the signal still passes through the pedals if that loop is activated. You can also have pedals before and after the switcher. Again, if you don't have enough loops, or if it's a pedal that you always have on, then you can take this out of the loop switcher and put it before or after. These are the most basic functions of a loop switcher, but all loop switchers are built to handle these scenarios. Some loop switchers have more advanced features. In these examples, I'm using a Gig Rig G2 switcher. Some of these advanced switchers have other functions including amp switching and MIDI switching. Make sure to check that the switcher you're buying has all the features that you need. In this first example, I just wanted to show you that the more advanced switchers can be used in the exact same way as the simple ones from the previous examples. In the Gig Rig, it's called Stompbox mode, but in others it's sometimes called normal mode or something like that. In this mode, you press the switch that corresponds to the numbers of the loop you want to turn on. Switch 1 turns on loop 1, switch 2 turns on loop 2, just like our earlier switcher examples. You can also add multiple pedals into a loop if you wish, just like before. Where more advanced switchers start to have an edge is in their presets mode. In presets mode, you can select various different loops to be activated when you press one switch. So instead of switch 1 activating loop 1, it now activates preset 1. In preset 1, you can see we have our overdrive and reverb, so when we activate preset 1, both of these pedals will turn on at the same time. If we then click switch 2, this will change to preset 2, which activates loops 2, 3 and 4. As you can see, loop 5, or reverb, is not added to preset 2, so loop 5 is deactivated and the reverb is removed from the signal. Using presets, you can turn off groups of pedals with just one switch instead of having to activate each loop individually. You can use the presets in different ways. For example, some people use them for different chord tones. Preset 1 could be a clean rhythm tone, preset 2 is your overdriven crunch, preset 3 is your lead guitar tone, preset 4 is lead guitar tone with your wah pedal. Some other people use presets for different parts of songs. So preset 1 is your intro, preset 2 is your verse, preset 3 is your chorus sound, preset 4 is your solo sound. Many of the more advanced switchers also contain banks of presets. So you can have 100 banks, each with 14 presets. So each bank could be a different song, and the presets in that bank are the different parts of the song. Then you move to bank 2 for song 2, bank 3 for song 3. That way all your presets are set up and ready for your set list. Some switchers allow you to combine preset mode and stomp box mode. On the G2 switcher, for example, you can have the bottom row of switches as presets and the top row as stomp boxes. This means you can add effects that aren't in your preset on top of the preset loops. You can see in this example, we have our preset 2 activated, which contains loops 2, 3 and 4. Let's call this our verse preset. Usually this is perfect, but maybe you're playing a gig where you think adding the reverb would enhance the sound. So instead of altering your preset, what we do in this situation is set the top row of buttons to stomp box mode and assign loop 5 to one of those switches. Therefore I can select preset 2 on the bottom row to get my verse preset and then activate the reverb on the top row in stomp box mode. This activates my reverb on the top of my preset. If I change preset, then the reverb will be deactivated, or I can deactivate the reverb by hitting the switch again to turn it off. Another feature you may find on some of the advanced switchers is the ability to virtually reorder the loops. For example, usually I run my overdrive into my chorus, but there's one song where I want the chorus to go into the overdrive. Usually to do this, I would have to physically unplug the pedals and switch them round so that the chorus loop was before the overdrive loop. However, some switchers give you the ability to do this virtually, so you don't need to physically move the pedals. When you're setting up your preset, or sometimes known as patches, you choose your order you want the signal to flow through the loops. In this example, you can see that loop 3 with our chorus is before loop 2, and therefore if both of those loops are activated, it will flow through our chorus first, then through the overdrive. We have done this without having to physically unplug the chorus and move it to loop 2 and move the overdrive to loop 3. These functions give us a lot of flexibility with pedal order and trying out different signal chains, and makes it quick to audition sounds without having to unplug everything all the time. As you can see, there's lots of benefits to having a loop switcher. It gives your signal the shortest path possible to the amp and keeps your signal clean. I'm going to be making lots of these kinds of videos, also covers and original songs, recording and mixing tutorials and other tutorials as well. So make sure to subscribe, hit the like and thumbs up and turn on notifications. If you do have any questions, make sure and comment below. Please also check out my other social channels at @SDoigMusic, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.